Hello, my name is GregTech and welcome back to our GregTech New Horizons Season 2. Now, I have completed or set this up and it seems to be running okay. It looks a bit crazy, but it actually seems to be functioning pretty well, to be honest. The only thing I haven't really tested is the precise assembler recipes, because they have a bunch of different fluids in them, and I am wondering, will this get kind of screwed up? So I may even, instead of having that connected to the main one, because all these recipes that we have in here is just items and one fluid. It's just one simple fluid. It gets sent out, put in there, and then since each of these are split up, the items are always going to be in the hatches. Especially if I run into a little bit of a bottleneck, we can always upgrade the hatches to super buses. There are a couple super buses around for the numbers that we use a lot of, but I didn't replace all of them because, one, I didn't have a working assembly machine to craft more super buses up, but now we got it up. But like I said, it is working okay. I haven't run into any issues yet. The one recipes is these precise things, because if we look at the high computation, oh wait, I thought that was a precise one. Right, that one's a precise one. A lot of these I just did manually when I needed a couple. I don't remember when I needed them, but we did them basically manually. So I didn't make recipes for them, or I put them in my chest up there. Like, there is the high computation. I was just doing it manually. Like what I was saying is the precise assembler, these have 4 different fluids. So I'm kind of thinking, and I haven't even tried this, I don't know if it's going to get clogged up, but I feel like that has a chance to really mess this stuff up with 4 different fluids. For example, if it puts a recipe in for 4 different items and then it puts one over here, it might get stuck. Like, one of the fluids might get outputted, and then this one might output it, and then the rest of the fluids get stuck behind it, kind of thing. But since it doesn't have all 4 in there, it can't run that thing. So I'm thinking I will probably split these off into their own precise assembler, because one, you have to switch the mode on this anyway, which is a bit of a pain. But I needed to get this up and running before I can craft up more of the casings, because the casings require that. Although, like I said, I didn't realize I thought that was a precise, I just threw it in there because I just assumed that was, but it's the rest of the ones. So if I want to do like the next tier up, I need to be able to craft those up in the assembler. So I might, like I said, split that off and do that, because I do believe we're going to need, like, some of these computation things. I think we're going to need, like, tons of them later on. I was like, oh, you can just craft up a quantum anomaly. I didn't know you could just craft one of those up. I thought you had to get it from there. Apparently there's a crafting recipe. Anyway, I do think there is, yeah. So, like, if you want these, they require that, and that requires, the compact fusion requires a lot of those. So I do think having a dedicated precise assembler will work. But I'm not going to worry about that right this second. I just wanted to get this all up and running. What I am going to do today is, oh, also, space elevator. Someone mentioned, I think it was King. I can't remember. Someone might have mentioned giant output hatch. Didn't realize that was a thing. We have it up here. This can hold 100 million. I didn't realize that was an item. So I have replaced the 5 output hatches and the funniness that I was trying to do. So now this is, all of it goes in the distilled water and then output into our tank. And then I have a detector to turn it on and off, just so it's not running, wasting 8 million EU per tick, voiding a bunch of distilled water. I don't know. I just think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have to worry about that much with other fluids. It's really just distilled water because it produces so much. But I like not having that turning on and off all the time. So keep that in mind, giant output hatch. And I just kind of... Oops. I think it was that. I don't know. I just totally forgot what I was saying. Yeah, just keep that in mind if you need. The output hatches are pretty easy. It's just 64 basic input hatches. All right, so that is that. I think now we're going to get our Radox. I think that is something I want to work towards. This is its own kind of craziness. And before we kind of get into that, I am going to do this line. I think it's here. Yep. So there is this kind of like whole quest line that gets into DNA samples and replicating petri dishes. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong because yeah, because, for example, if we want this petri dish, it's a 7.5% chance. So we're going to need to probably go through a bunch of these, and then trying to get these would be a bit of a pain when that's like a 2.5 second kind of recipe. So I'm going to do the quest line, and we will try to get Radox here. So there is Radox and Xenosine. And it might take me a little bit of learning how this stuff works, but I'm just going to go through quest lines. So we need a petri dish with a culture. As we can see, sterilized petri dish, distilled water. This requires fermented spider eye. We'll probably need a couple. Wow, I don't have fermented spider eye. I guess we don't really make a lot of potions, so not super surprising. Like, I know I have spider eye. Do I have spider? I mean, I don't have a 30. We can always probably get more from that, but I don't really have like a mob farm, do we? All right, so hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't need. It is kind of funny having fermented spider eyes. I think that's our first mixing recipe that isn't like a dust. I guess there's a crystal, but they're all dust. Anyway, fermented spider eye. I don't know, 10? Sure, why not? And then that, we'll grab some of these. I did make recipes for all these. I was doing them manually before, but I actually did make recipes for all this stuff. And also the just plain petri dishes. I made a recipe for that. All right, I'm gonna grab some of this. We'll grab some distilled water and basically just be doing this manually at this point. I'll just grab. Stop moving. All right, and then we have our. Where do we have? Biolab. We have our thing in here. Do I still have this hooked up? I might be. Oh, it's still hooked up. Cool. I need to upgrade these as well. the vats. Never got around to doing that. All right, so there. I'm probably just going to do one at a time and then see, because there's no point in... Also, we have problems apparently. The what's not even on? Oh well, I guess we didn't need that. We didn't need that, didn't it? That was like being a bit funny. Did that not require? I thought that required a... Oh, I guess it doesn't need a clean room. Is it just some recipes that require a clean room? Is that what I'm... I swear we needed a clean room for some stuff. Didn't we need a clean room? Yes. Okay, so there are some that... I was like, why do I have that in here if we don't need a clean room? Some of them apparently do need a clean room. But, alright, what I was trying to say is... This controller boosts the efficiency, so I can actually have the door standing open, and we don't lose... It never drops below 100%. I guess that's what I was trying to say. But apparently that recipe doesn't need it. Okay, so we got our Petri dish. Use that to make E. coli bacteria fluid. Okay, we do need another bacterial vat. So I'm thinking that's what we need to craft up. This actually doesn't require any radiation, which is pretty cool. I think I'm gonna do... Didn't I? Yes. Go. I did. All right. I was like, I remember crafting all this stuff for a bacterial vat. I'm just gonna build this in the base right over here, I think. Because a lot of this is gonna be done manually, and I don't need to set up a line for it until we get to the xenozine part. All right. So let me build this. Just gonna plop it right here where we had our molecular transformers or whatever, which I don't really need anymore. There we go. Just got it built. I did the UV glass. Got it filled with our distilled water. That in there goes. So we need, for the quest, we need this E. coli bacteria. We need a bunch of it. I am assuming, I don't know. We need like millions of buckets, but we definitely need some of it. Or, I don't know where the quest is in here, but we need liquid DNA for something. One of these. E. coli. As we can see, it is 10 to 1. So I might let that run and fill up a decent amount. And it looks like we also need for plasma membrane. So yeah, probably going to need to run this for a while. I actually don't know if this is something we're going to have to keep up permanently. I was thinking that we would probably use this to get... something we could just use to get the Petri dish, and then I would use this and redo the setup total. Okay, but as we know, the bacterial fluid depends on what the hatch has. So I'm going to let this run. Let's get sugar of 13,000. Not running sugar beets at the moment. Sugarcane I could probably get. Like, yeah, there's got to be like a B. Yeah, I was like, there's got to be a B. What am I talking about? Yeah, so Valiant we have. Don't think we have any of those. Anyway, so we won't have to worry about sugar beets. All right. Sugar. Put that in there. And then, I think, is it? No, E. coli we're doing. Need at least one of this. So 32. For that. All right, let's just do... I have no idea how fast this is going to go either. Did that just go through? I was like, yep, that's not fast enough. All right, accelerator. So I'm going to need... do that. Basically let it run. Man, we're going to go through a whole bunch of sugar here. Trying to get this up. I mean, obviously it gets quicker the more you have it. Once it gets closer to halfway. Why is it turning on and off? Oh, because that's emptying out the whole thing. I didn't realize it was emptying out the whole thing. Alright, so that's almost half. Again. And then I just start pulling out. Keep it kind of half until I get a bigger batch kind of thing. Alright, so let me do this. And we'll get it running with a output hatch this size. It's kind of a pain until you get it going. It definitely is a bit of a pain, especially this is like a really quick recipe. The other ones were like 20 seconds, so it was easier to... I mean, I guess I could just do this manually. Don't want to pull out everything. We are back. I've gone ahead and gotten this up to an output hatch IV and done the normal setup that I do with the fluid detector, wireless internal, and then a regulator to keep it close as possible to halfway. I've gone ahead and got liquid DNA and fluorescent DNA and a plasma membrane. There's a couple ways to go about doing this. I made a recipe for this directly because it is 100%, but we are actually going to need, at least for these quests, we're going to need enzyme solution. And as we can see, that is a absolutely terrible ratio. I need like 100 buckets of these to make one thing of enzyme. Is that what I'm reading? That's a choice. I don't know entirely what the enzyme solution is for. Looks like it is required to get these samples. Now, it does look like it's a pretty decent-ish. That's only 7.5%. All right. Is this really just we're going to need millions of E. coli? That's interesting. Because this does require 32 sugar. No easier way to get this. There's no replicator recipe. No replicator recipe. There's literally only way to do that is to go about that. So it's literally just sugar. 10,000. And go. Admittedly, you get a bunch from the sugar beets. But I probably am going to want a sugar bee. Let me throw, I think Valiant, the only one that I have at the moment that produces sugar. It just produces it directly. But there are other bees that produce sugar. namely sugary. But it's not that much different. But I don't think I have sugary. I don't know if I have sweetened. Do we have sweetened? I'm distracted. No, we don't have sweetened. We don't have sugary. But I do have Valiant. But, alright, so we are just crafting this up. As we can see, it's just kind of working. It's not exactly on 128, but it's close enough, I think. I think we're doing okay. I feel like we're getting... I thought we would get like 5 buckets, but... It seems like to be doing 1 bucket at a time. Anyway, what we need to do is send this through the thing and see what we get. So I'm going to do 40. Yeah. Do 100 buckets and see if this is as bad as I think it's going to be, because we need even more after this too. Also, if I need to set this up for... if I need to set this up to continually produce this stuff, I will. At the moment, I just have... No! It just... I forgot to do... Dang it! Alright, I just turned all that into liquid DNA because I forgot to change the number. Also, I need to probably get a thing. Wand of something. It would be much quicker than doing it the way I'm doing it. Just haven't got around to it. Alright, so I changed that to 17. Is what we actually needed, not the... Right? So I just turned that all into liquid DNA. But we need 17. Alright. At least it's quick. But it's I don't think we're gonna get a whole lot out of it. I should just build a centrifuge in the base. Alright, well, there's our 1 bucket. 1 singular little bucket. Liquid. We did get 6 buckets of liquid DNA. Alright, so there's that one, and it wants us to get polymerase. And polymerase is even worse. Because this is 4. You get... I need 4 buckets of enzyme solution. So I need 400 buckets of E. coli to make one of those? Is that what I'm reading? And then it's possibly you need more of these? Oh my goodness. Alright. I feel like we're just going to need millions of sugar. Is this how I'm reading this correctly? If we're doing this? Did we just go through 10,000 sugar? Yeah, I think we did just go through 10,000 sugar. I feel like this isn't... I feel like I'm not getting enough, to be honest. I don't know. It did increase the... So, 500... Maybe we're just not putting enough distilled water in. Is that what I'm... Input hatch. Let me try the biggest input hatch we have. Why do we not have a bigger hatch? I don't know. I was thinking we would get more than just was thinking we were going to get 5 buckets is what I thought. So if I do... That's 500,000 distilled water. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, yeah, it was being gated by this. I have set this. I might even need to be honest, I might even need a faster regulator in there. But you can see it's much, much quicker than we were doing before. Alright, that makes that not feel so terrible. But I do need like 400 buckets of this, don't we? Okay, that wasn't... That was much quicker now that I have this set up. Also, I threw down another... So is that polymerase? Poly? Yes. Alright. So, where is that? Like I said, I just wanted to get the quest completed. Also, I could probably turn this on. I might even throw a bigger... Once that output, once the export bus speeds up, it stays on, you can see. And it is definitely not keeping up with that. I need a bigger regulator in there. About 1,000. Oop. Screwed that one up. Dang it! But I mean, we're already up to 400,000 again. 2 of those. That. Active with redstones. And probably 132. Okay, that's better. That's keeping up with it. Oh, I'll just let that run. I'll just let that go through all that sugar. But we're getting much more than we were before. So there we go. We got that. All right, to copy cultures, you need to make a DNA sample first. Many of these have low chances, but this one's 100%. I'm sure you can figure it out yourself, but keep in mind that modules are not consumed, and that you may wish to use one of the IC2 crops for the detergent materials. All right, so biolab. This doesn't require a thing, which is good. We do need a DNA extraction module. This is like a whole kind of... This is like its own kind of crazy little process here. It's like a own little kind of mini game for all these DNA things. I didn't realize this was so involved. All right, we have ethanol, we have DNA. Oh, I need to get... Let me put... I'm assuming this is how we get that as well. Alright, so it wants that. We have a petri dish, right? I don't know if I want to use... Oh, I think we have to, actually. Yeah, I either need to use this one or that one. So DNA flax, detergent material, detergent power. What a weird recipe. Vines. Guess we'll do. Pretty sure we can get vines from a crop. And then that. I'm assuming that would get consumed. The question is, like, what do we do with that? Alright, so we take that, the fluorescent DNA, the data orb, and that polymerase stuff with our liquid DNA. We create a data orb with coli on it. And then we can use that to create more of them, is what I'm kind of guessing. So much to do. All right, gone ahead and... Oh, didn't mean to do that. Gone ahead and got a vine going in here. I actually have it turned off at the moment because we don't run it for anything else, and I already have, it was like 5 minutes, I got 1600 or 1700. I've crafted up a few of those detergent powders. All right, so not too terrible. Also, it's pretty easy to get another petri dish if you already have that. So originally we did that, it was a 45-second recipe, but if you already have the fluid, it is a 75%. So much easier to get another one. So I've gone ahead, got another one. We got our detergent. There is our DNI sample, and there is ethanol. We need some, forgot to grab, put the wrong thing in there. Yep. Boy, do I need to... I really need to get the better terminals. It's crazy that I'm like jumping back and forth, but I mean, when I'm playing by myself, it doesn't really matter, but when I am recording, it probably seems kind of silly that I'm doing that. It doesn't really bother me when I'm not recording. Okay, so there is that. Now, after getting your sample, you need to encode the information to a data orb. Again, many times you'll have to do it repeatedly. The data orb is given back if it fails, but in this case, it is 100%. I believe this is just kind of teaching you how to go about doing, like how you trying to do that. All right, so we need data orb, polymerase, fluorescent DNA, liquid DNA. We have all that in the data. And we also need this other module. And there we go, PCR thermocycle module. I want to say these modules, I really like how I like the icon. Looks really cool. Like all of them are just, they're like really well designed. I just think they look really cool. All right, so data module, polymerase, fluorescent DNA, good DNA. And DNA slice. I'm just putting those in order so I got that right. All right. All right, so there we go. We got on a data orb, we got E. coli. Ding. Next one. Copy a culture, you'll need a sterilized petri dish. We got a plasma membrane, we got data cells, we got our data orb, we need more liquid DNA, and I need this. Now this one's a bit more complicated, but it doesn't get used up, so it's not. Maybe throw those in a chest so they are kept separate, but... And we already have all that, because we craft up so many of those fuel generators at a time with the component assembly line. That's kind of crazy. We already had all that. And we have enough for another one too. All right, what did I say I needed? We needed the data orb. Oh, we need liquid DNA. Let me go get more. We have 5 buckets there. But we need 8 buckets, right? Is that what we needed? Which one are... Okay, this doesn't seem like it's... Doesn't show up in the thing. All right. There it is. Module used to change... All right, so that is the recipe. It just doesn't... It's not like it's showing... It's not showing, I guess, on the thing. So that makes it a little bit more confusing. All right, that's good to know. It seems like all of them are used Plasma stem cells at the data orb. Okay, cool. All right, there we go. That was easy enough. So I got all that stuff. Then I just need the plasma membrane. Now I didn't get a single one from crafting up this enzyme solution. And I must have, what did we do? We did like 400 of these processes, and I didn't get a single one. So that feels a bit, the only one we've ever gotten is from stem cells. Oh, that feels a, but I think we can just go ahead and create this now. Anytime we want the thing. Although this is a 75%. I guess this is more for like more complicated recipes would be my guess. Because the culture we get from our regular E. coli is a 75% chance, so... Also, does this need... liquid? Alright, and apparently that stem cell recipe is wrong as well. Looks like it only needs one. Alright, but there we go. There we copied our Petri dish. Yeah, and then whatever data orb, you basically just make a data orb for whatever culture you want. All right, so if I wanted to do this, I would make a data orb of that, and then we could just replicate it as many times as we want, instead of having to do the little recipe. All right, so I kind of get that, how we multiply that. So that, for example, for this, we're probably going to need a whole bunch of these. Well, I'll just use the thing to do that. All right, cool. Unfortunately, though, this episode is going long, so we will get more into this with the plasmid sample flasks, and we'll see what this quest is about, and that will unlock Xenoscene. Anyway, that's going to be for today, so thanks for watching, and have a good one.